Gentlemen, let's talk about something most men won't discuss openly, but almost every man over 50 wonders about what really happens to your body when you go through a long stretch without sexual activity. Maybe you've been single for a while, maybe health issues have changed things, or perhaps life just got complicated and intimacy took a back seat. Whatever the reason, you've probably heard the phrase, use it or lose it, and wondered if there's any truth to it. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, a urologist with 12 years of experience, and today I'm going to give you the honest, science-backed answer. And I promise you, much of what you've heard is completely exaggerated. But there are some real changes that happen, and it's important you understand them. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's myth, what's real, and most importantly, what you can do to maintain optimal health and vitality, whether you're sexually active right now or not. Let's start by clearing up the biggest myths I hear in my office almost every week. Myth number 1. If you don't use it, it'll stop working completely. Here's the truth. Your body doesn't just shut down because you've taken a break from sexual activity. You're not going to wake up one day and find that everything has permanently stopped functioning. Your tissues, your nerves, your hormonal system, they're all remarkably resilient. The human body was designed with incredible redundancy and adaptability built into every system. Even when certain functions aren't being utilized regularly, the underlying architecture remains intact, ready to be reactivated when circumstances change. Myth number 2. If I go too long without sex, my libido will disappear forever. Again, not true. Yes, hormones and psychological factors play a role, but taking a break from sex doesn't doom you to a lifetime of zero desire. Your body is adaptive, and desire can and does return when circumstances change. I've seen men in my practice who went years without sexual activity due to divorce, illness, or caregiving responsibilities, and when they finally had the opportunity to reconnect with intimacy, their bodies responded. Sometimes it took a little time, sometimes it required some support, but the capacity was never truly lost. Now here's what is true. There are some real, measurable changes that can happen to your body during extended periods without sexual activity. These changes aren't catastrophic, but they are worth understanding so you can take simple, proactive steps to maintain your health. Knowledge is power, and when you understand what's happening inside your body, you can make informed decisions about how to care for yourself. Let me walk you through the biology in plain language. No medical jargon. Your entire reproductive and urinary system depends on 3 things: blood flow, muscle tone, and hormone levels. Think of these as the 3 pillars holding everything up. Each of these pillars supports the others, and when all 3 are functioning well, the entire system operates smoothly. When one pillar weakens, the others can compensate to some degree, but optimal function requires attention to all 3. When you have regular sexual activity, whether with a partner or by yourself, you're essentially doing maintenance work on all 3 pillars simultaneously. This is why sexual health is so interconnected with overall physical health. You can't really separate one from the other. Sexual arousal increases blood flow to the pelvic region. That increased circulation keeps tissues healthy, elastic, and well-nourished. It's like watering a plant. The tissues stay supple and responsive. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to every cell, and when blood flow is robust and regular, tissues remain healthy and functional. This is true throughout your entire body, but it's especially important in areas with dense concentrations of blood vessels and specialized tissues. When you reach climax, your pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically. These contractions are like a natural workout for those muscles, helping them stay strong and toned. Strong pelvic floor muscles are critical not just for sexual function, but also for bladder control and overall core stability. Most men never think about their pelvic floor until something goes wrong. But these muscles are working constantly to support your internal organs, maintain continence, and contribute to sexual function. And finally, sexual activity interacts with your hormones in complex ways. Testosterone, the key male hormone, influences desire, energy, and even mood. Regular activity helps keep these hormonal pathways active and responsive. Your endocrine system operates on feedback loops. When certain activities occur regularly, the body maintains the hormone levels needed to support those activities. When activities decrease, the body may gradually adjust production accordingly. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, so what actually changes if I'm not sexually active? That's exactly what we're about to cover in detail. Let's break down the 4 most common changes men experience during extended periods without sexual activity. Understanding these changes will help you recognize what's normal, what's temporary, and what might need attention. Change number 1, blood flow and tissue health. The biology. Your penile tissue contains something called smooth muscle. This tissue needs regular oxygenated blood flow to stay healthy and elastic. During an erection, blood rushes into the tissue, stretching it and keeping it flexible. This process is actually essential for maintaining the tissue's ability to expand and contract properly. When you go for long periods without erections, and this includes nighttime erections, which are actually nature's way of doing maintenance, the tissue can start to lose some of that elasticity. Think of it like a rubber band that hasn't been stretched in a while. It still works, but it might feel a little stiffer at first. The smooth muscle cells can undergo subtle changes, and the connective tissue may become slightly less pliable. Your body actually provides erections during REM sleep specifically to maintain tissue health. These nocturnal erections happen several times per night in healthy men and serve an important physiological purpose. They flood the tissue with oxygenated blood, keeping it healthy even when you're not consciously aware of it. However, as men age, these nocturnal erections may become less frequent or less firm, which means the tissue receives less of this automatic maintenance. The practical reality. Some men notice that after a long break, erections might feel less firm initially, or it might take a little longer to achieve full hardness. The response might not be as immediate or as robust as it once was. This can be disconcerting, especially if you're not expecting it. The good news is, this is usually temporary. Once you resume activity, blood flow improves and tissue responsiveness typically returns. The body begins receiving those regular signals again, circulation increases, and the tissues remember what they're supposed to do. For most men, this recovery happens relatively quickly, within a few weeks to a couple of months of resumed activity. The emotional impact. This can be worrying the first time it happens. You might think something is permanently wrong, especially if you're with a new partner after a long period of being single. The anxiety itself can make things worse, creating a cycle of worry and underperformance. But understanding that it's a natural, reversible response to decreased activity can ease a lot of anxiety. When you know what to expect, you can approach the situation with patience rather than panic. Change number 2. Pelvic floor muscle tone. The biology. Your pelvic floor muscles, the ones that control urination, support your bladder, and play a role in erections and climax, benefit from regular contractions. When you orgasm, these muscles contract rhythmically, keeping them toned and strong. These contractions are actually quite vigorous, and they provide excellent exercise for the entire pelvic floor complex. The pelvic floor is a hammock of muscles stretching from your pubic bone to your tailbone. These muscles support your bladder, bowel, and reproductive organs. They're involved in urinary control, bowel control, and sexual function. Like any muscles in your body, they respond to use. Regular contractions keep them strong, while prolonged inactivity can lead to weakening. The practical reality. When you're not sexually active, you might notice subtle changes in bladder control. Maybe you feel a slight urgency you didn't feel before, or occasional minor leakage when you cough, sneeze, or lift something heavy. These changes are often so gradual that men don't connect them to lack of sexual activity, but the connection is real. You might also notice that when you do have sexual activity after a long break, the sensations might feel different. Climax might feel less intense, or the rhythmic contractions might feel weaker. This is because those muscles haven't been getting their regular workout. The emotional impact. Changes in bladder control can be particularly distressing because they feel like signs of aging or declining health. Many men feel embarrassed about these issues and don't discuss them, even with their doctors. But understanding that pelvic floor health is connected to sexual activity and that simple exercises can help puts control back in your hands. Change number 3. Testosterone and hormonal balance. The biology. Testosterone levels naturally decline with age, about 1 to 2% per year after age 30. But regular sexual activity helps keep the entire hormonal system engaged and responsive. Some research suggests that men who remain sexually active tend to maintain slightly better testosterone levels, though the relationship is complex and bidirectional. Sexual activity triggers a cascade of hormonal responses. Testosterone rises in anticipation of sexual activity and during arousal. Dopamine, the reward neurotransmitter, floods your brain. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, is released during intimacy and climax. These hormonal events aren't just pleasant. They help maintain the sensitivity and responsiveness of your entire endocrine system. The practical reality. During long stretches without activity, some men notice they feel less motivated, less energetic, or just generally flat. The spark that used to drive them might feel dimmer. Libido can decrease, which creates a cycle. Less desire leads to less activity, which can further decrease desire. This feedback loop can be difficult to break without conscious intervention. You might also notice changes in body composition. Testosterone helps maintain muscle mass and bone density while keeping body fat in check. When levels decline, you might find it harder to maintain muscle, easier to gain weight around the midsection, and harder to find the energy for physical activity. The emotional impact. This can feel like you're losing a core part of your identity. Many men tie their sense of self to their drive, their energy, their ambition. When that feels diminished, it can trigger existential questions about aging and mortality. Men tell me they feel less confident, less masculine, less like themselves. But understanding that this is often hormonal and therefore treatable can be incredibly reassuring. You're not broken. Your body is simply adapting to circumstances, and those circumstances can be changed. Change number 4, psychological and relational effects. The biology. Sex isn't just physical, it's deeply connected to mental health. Regular sexual activity has been linked to lower stress levels, better sleep quality, and improved mood. Partly because of the release of hormones like oxytocin and endorphins, but also because of the psychological benefits of intimacy, connection, and physical pleasure. Oxytocin, sometimes called the cuddle hormone, promotes feelings of bonding and reduces anxiety. Endorphins are natural painkillers that also promote feelings of well-being. The physical exertion of sexual activity can help burn off stress hormones like cortisol. And the emotional experience of being desired, of connecting with another person, of experiencing pleasure, these all contribute to mental health in ways that are difficult to quantify, but very real. The practical reality. Men who go through long periods without intimacy sometimes report feeling more stressed, more isolated, or experiencing poorer sleep. Without that regular release valve, tension can build up. Without that regular connection, loneliness can creep in. Some men throw themselves into work or hobbies, which can be healthy, but it doesn't fully replace the benefits of intimate connection. If you're in a relationship, lack of physical intimacy can create emotional distance. Physical touch is a fundamental way that humans connect, and when it's absent, partners can start to feel like roommates rather than lovers. Resentment can build on both sides, one partner feeling rejected, the other feeling pressured. These dynamics can spiral if they're not addressed openly. The emotional impact. This is often the hardest part. Sex is about connection, vulnerability, and feeling desired. When it's absent, for whatever reason, many men feel a profound sense of loss. They might feel undesirable, unlovable, or simply disconnected from a fundamental part of human experience. Some men respond by withdrawing further, avoiding situations that might lead to intimacy because they fear rejection or failure. Others become irritable or depressed without fully understanding why. The loss of sexual connection can feel like a grief that's difficult to name or discuss. Here's the most important thing I want you to hear today. For most men, especially those who are younger or in their 50s and 60s with reasonably healthy hormone levels, these changes are not permanent. Your body is remarkably adaptive. It evolved to handle periods of feast and famine, activity and rest, connection and solitude. When you resume sexual activity, whether with a partner or through self-pleasure, blood flow improves, tissues regain elasticity, muscles strengthen, and confidence returns. The body remembers. The pathways are still there, they just need to be reactivated. I've seen this happen countless times in my practice. Men who feared they had permanently lost function discovered that with patience, the right support, and sometimes simple interventions, they could regain what they thought was gone. The body wants to function well. Sometimes it just needs the right conditions and a little help. However, if you're dealing with significant age-related testosterone decline, Or if you have underlying health conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or neurological conditions, the changes can be more pronounced and may require medical support. And that's completely okay. There's help available. Modern medicine has remarkable tools for addressing sexual health concerns. Medications, hormone therapy, devices, counseling. There are options for nearly every situation. The key is being willing to have the conversation with a healthcare provider who takes these concerns seriously. Whether you're currently sexually active or not, here are 4 practical steps to maintain optimal health. 1. Stay physically active. Cardiovascular exercise improves blood flow throughout your entire body, including the pelvic region. Your heart pumps blood more efficiently, your blood vessels stay flexible, and circulation reaches every tissue that needs it. Strength training helps maintain testosterone levels and muscle mass. Flexibility work supports overall function and reduces injury risk. Even a brisk 30-minute walk daily makes a difference. The connection between cardiovascular health and sexual health is so strong that erectile difficulties are often an early warning sign of heart disease. 2. Practice pelvic floor exercises. You don't need to be sexually active to keep these muscles strong. Simple Kegel exercises, contracting and releasing the muscles you use to stop urination, can be done anywhere, anytime. No one knows you're doing them. 3 sets of 10 repetitions daily is a great start. You can do them while driving, watching television, or sitting at your desk. Consistent practice over weeks and months leads to noticeable improvements in muscle tone, bladder control, and sexual function. 3. Consider solo activity. Even if you're not in a relationship, maintaining regular sexual function through self-pleasure helps preserve blood flow, muscle tone, and hormonal responsiveness. This isn't about indulgence, it's about maintenance. There's no shame in this. It's legitimate health maintenance, no different than exercising or eating well. Your body needs these physiological events to maintain optimal function, and providing them yourself is a practical solution when partnered activity isn't available. 4. Get your hormones checked. If you're experiencing persistent low energy, decreased libido, mood changes, difficulty concentrating, or unexplained weight gain, ask your doctor to check your testosterone levels. A simple blood test can reveal whether your levels are in the normal range or have declined significantly. If they're low, hormone replacement therapy might be appropriate and can dramatically improve quality of life. Many men describe it as getting their spark back. While most changes are normal and reversible, there are a few warning signs that require prompt medical attention. Don't ignore these. They could indicate something that needs treatment. Sudden, complete loss of ability to achieve erections, even nighttime erections, can indicate a vascular or neurological problem that needs evaluation. Pain or discomfort with erections or ejaculation should always be investigated. Significant changes in urination like severe urgency, pain, or blood in the urine require immediate attention. Profound fatigue, depression, or other symptoms that interfere with daily life deserve medical evaluation. Remember, erectile dysfunction can be an early warning sign of cardiovascular disease. The blood vessels supplying the penis are smaller than those supplying the heart, so they often show problems first. If you're having persistent issues, don't ignore them. They could be your body telling you something important about your overall health. I want to address something that doesn't get talked about enough: the emotional weight of these changes. Many men tie their sense of masculinity, confidence, and self-worth to sexual performance. Our culture reinforces this connection constantly, so when things feel different, it can trigger deep feelings of inadequacy or shame. You might feel like you're becoming less of a man, or that your best years are behind you. You might feel embarrassed to discuss these issues with anyone, including your doctor or partner. You might feel alone, as if you're the only one experiencing these changes. Let me be clear. Your worth as a man is not measured by sexual frequency or performance. Your value as a human being has nothing to do with what's happening below your belt. Your body is doing exactly what bodies do. It's adapting to circumstances. And with the right understanding and sometimes simple interventions, you can maintain vitality and function for many years to come. If you're not currently sexually active because of circumstances beyond your control, maybe you're single, maybe your partner has health issues, maybe you're a caregiver with no time or energy for yourself, You haven't done anything wrong, and you're not somehow failing. Life happens. Circumstances change. What matters is that you take care of your overall health and stay informed. So bottom line, do you use it or lose it? The answer is not in the catastrophic way most men fear. Yes, your body benefits from regular sexual activity through improved circulation, muscle tone, and hormonal balance. Yes, extended periods without activity can lead to some temporary changes. But for most men, these changes are reversible with resumed activity and proper care. What matters most is that you listen to your body, stay informed, and don't let fear or shame keep you from seeking help when you need it. Your best years don't have to be behind you. With the right approach, you can maintain vitality, confidence, and function well into your later years. Take care of your cardiovascular health, exercise your pelvic floor, stay hormonally balanced, and most importantly, remember that sexual health is just one component of overall well-being. Connection, purpose, physical activity, mental stimulation, good nutrition, adequate sleep, all of these contribute to a vibrant, satisfying life. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit, a friend, brother, or father. These conversations need to happen more openly. Leave a like to help this message reach more men, and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss future content on men's health. Remember, age doesn't define your vitality. Small, informed changes can bring real freedom and confidence. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay informed, and most importantly, stay confident.